Well, cool. So here we are, guys. Johnnyg2 versus Mikmer, first ADV game of the season. Pretty exciting stuff. SPL debut for Johnnyg2 and for Mikmer. We're going to see Mikmer lead off with a Salamence versus the Tyranitar. Johnny in the basement. Okay. Um, there's an Intimidate there. Obviously, generally Tar will switch out here, but it can sometimes stay in an Ice Beam. We are going to see a switch out there, and we're going to see a Starmie coming in. And that Brick Break damage, is that CB onto defensive Starmie? I think so. Should I do a quick calc? Let's have a look. Starmie, Rapid Spin versus Salamence Choice Band. So yeah, that's a standard defensive Starmie, but not bold by the looks of things. Yep, and it's a relatively, I mean, it's either a min roll or this is a jolly CB Ments. It could be a jolly CB Ments, and that Brick Break is doing some sort of in the middle roll. But yeah, pretty exciting stuff for sure. Okay, cool. So now we're going to see Heracross in here. Good stuff. Hera's pretty threatening for sure. But Skarm is going to come on in at the same time. So it kind of looks to me like Mikmer's going to have to swap out. Interesting that we saw Heracross take Sand as well, actually. Very interesting. No lefties on that, but switching hard into Starmie. Interesting for sure. Maybe he was expecting to take a T-Wave, hoping to get the guts and then just really slap some stuff up with like Mega Horn or Brick Break. I mean, when you see a Starmie as the initial switch in to a Salamence, maybe some things in your head are sort of thinking Starmie balance, but then again, he led off with a T-Tar. So to me, that kind of says a little bit more Skarmory kind of thing going on. But I think Heracross is going to switch on out. I think what we've seen from Mikmer so far also sort of alludes to a Starmie, so we'll have to see whether that's what switches in as well. Yeah, hang on. Try and see if I can make this full screen. Actually, can't even remember how I work my computer for some reason. No, it looks like we're just going to watch it like this. Okay, that's all fine. Cool, all good. Okay then. Oh, we can zoom in a little bit. Let's zoom in a little bit. Nice. Okay, that's a little bit more cinematic, isn't it? Cool. I wanted to do. Okay. Awesome. So, yeah, they're both thinking a lot about this turn. Obviously, Skarmory can have Drill Peck, but at the same time, we have seen Heracross stay in on Skarmory before and click Focus Punch. And Focus Punch from Heracross into Skarm can OHKO it. Okay, so there's a Magneton. Nice. Obviously, that was like, you know, a super sort of telegraph switch in for sure. Like, if you see a Heracross and a CB Ments, definitely one of the first things coming to your mind is a Magneton. Some reason I said Starmie earlier. It's probably because I've been watching too many people bringing CB Salamence plus spin Starmie, but there you go. We see Tyranitar coming in here. Could be Pursuit Tar paired with the Spin Me. Tends to be a pretty good combo in terms of consistently spinning, but at the same time, Starmie is perfectly happy without any Pursuit support in terms of spinning, so this could also just be DD, physical for attacks. We really have basically minimal info. All we've seen is spikes. So we see a Fire Blast here, indicating either mixed or a Crunch Tar of some description, you know, a Pursuit Tar, that kind of thing. So yeah, I wonder. I reckon we'll probably see Mikmer save the Magneton, but we'll see. We actually see it staying in T-Bolt, and it's going to do the damage it's done there. Looks like Magneton onto Pursuit Tar there, and we do see a crunch, so it's almost confirmed max special attack, max HP Pursuit Tar pretty much at this point. Not Fire Blasting there for Johnnyg2 has definitely harmed him as well. Maybe he's got Brick Break or something here. He can just guarantee that KO without a risk. Oh, that's really unfortunate. So this Magneton's actually going to get some massive value, because the fact that Johnnyg2's come in to avenge this with T-Tar is also like massive testament to like how weak Johnnyg2 might actually be to Magneton, which is why I was kind of thinking maybe Mikmer might want to save it. He's actually going to go to Celebi here. And we know from Johnnyg2 he really likes the CM Celebes, so we can actually probably calc that damage, that T-Bolt there, just to get more of an idea. Magneton, because we do actually know that it's max special attack Magnet now. So this versus Celebi. If we look at CM plus Baton Pass, 21 1 minimum. So yeah, so it's actually got some special bulk, this one for sure, because that's max HP. So this is especially bulky Celebi. CB Mensa is going to come in quite nicely there. Did we see whether the Starmie or the Tyranitar was quicker? Looks like the Starmie was quicker than the Salamence. So might be in Johnnyg2's best interest to double. He might also want to stay in a HP Fly. Like we said, this is especially defensive Celebi. Probably unlikely that it's going to be bold if it took... I mean, like, this has max HP. If it took 18% from Thunderbolt, you're looking at, like, what? Yeah, like, that's a lot of SPDF. It's 200 EVs. But, you know, you probably want, like, something like 108 in order to live Dugtrio. And then you're looking at that point, you've probably only got, like, 120 left for your special defense plus a nature. So something like, just for reference sake, yeah, that's probably about the sort of spread that Johnnyg2 is using. Might not be CM, obviously, might not be these moves, but something along these sort of lines with the leftover EVs in speed or maybe some in special attack. So we've got one Spike Up on one side, we've got Skarm down on the other side. So obviously Skarm the Wall is gone, Skarm the Spiker is gone. We don't know whether Mikmer has any spin. If he does, he's being relatively patient with it. I guess he hasn't really had many opportunities where he can risk being offensive about that. Yet we do see Steelix. So it looks like maybe Johnnyg2 is using that ABR team, which would suggest a Aerodactyl last. I don't know exactly what moves the Steelix has on it on that. I think it might be like Rock Slide or something, but or HP Rock. I don't actually remember though. Regular defensive Celebi, regular spin, T-Wave Starmie, Pursuit Tar, regular Skarm. I think this might have even been, I don't know, was it Thief Skarm on this? I don't actually remember. I don't remember actually. But we're going to see a Protect there from the Metagross. Makes sense. Get back all of that HP. Obviously, with Protect, Metagross can essentially remove all damage from spikes. And if it doesn't take any damage on switching, it can remove even more if it's switching into something that it immediately forces out. So that spike isn't going to be too much of a hindrance by the look of things to Mikmer, considering the Levitating Mon, the Heracross, the Magneton is not really that important anymore. Now I've seen the Steelix and the Celebi. I mean, it is nice, however, that it can, if it does have HP Fire, that it can come in and do, like, you know, 40, 50, 60%, depending on what Steelix spread is, with a HP Fire later on in the game. I don't actually know that calc by heart, but yeah, it could definitely play a role in this. It also looks like from here on out, Johnnyg2 is very weak to that Heracross, and that is exactly what Mikmer's going to go to, and Johnnyg2 is going to surf, and I don't know if that was the best play he could have made, but it looks like this Heracross is really, really going to lay the hurt on if it can click the right move here. You've got to click between Megahorn, Brick, oh, Thief. Okay, that's cool. Definitely cool. But yeah, you've got to decide between, I don't know if I like the Thief there, but it's going to work out all right. Yeah, that is actually a Johnnyg2 tech. That's an OG from the forums there. Yeah. Should be pretty interesting to see what Mikmer's going to go for here. I mean, he's got Brick Break and Megahorn, presumably, so he should be pretty threatening. Should be interesting to see what he's going to do. Hits the Megahorn. Okay, nice. And now, who does Johnnyg2 want to go to? Probably the Aerodactyl in the back. He does go back to the Steelix. Okay, he's going to say maybe you don't have a fighting move that's going to do enough to the Steelix that I'm really worried about it. You've also, once he's revealed Thief, probably mostly ruled out Substitute, at which point Steelix is less scared about having to explode here. So there's that. I think if you're Johnnyg2 here, you're probably just Earthquaking. Blissey's going to come on in. We're probably going to see a soft boil from Blissey and, I don't know, switch to Celebi. We're actually going to see hard Aerodactyl here. That's interesting. I guess we have seen that it's Wish Bliss, so you're not actually afraid of a T-Wave, but I think Mikmer is so solid versus its Aerodactyl. You've got a whole Magneton that isn't actually, you know, super important at this point in the game. Blissey can literally just go for a soft boil to scout the coverage. I mean, you've got so many boys who can just switch right in. If you're Johnnyg2 here, maybe you want to double straight back to the Steelix. He is actually going to stay in an EQ, hoping maybe that Mikmer might make a mistake. So fair play to him there. Salamence is in. Salamence might be able to do a little bit of damage here, but at the end of the day, Mikmer wants to keep this healthy. He might not necessarily have a good Aerodactyl EQ switching. Damn. Okay, so he's gonna crit the Salamence is gonna crit the Starmie there. I mean, with Sand, there's a good chance it might have killed anyway, but it's still pretty big. I mean, if we look at Spin Storm, that's offensive. If we look at Rapid Spin Starmie, it tends to take about that sort of damage from HP Fly from Salamence anyway. So, Choice Band. Yeah, so Earthquake could have killed from there, especially with Sand. Even if he was, if we go for the old Jolly, even with Jolly, he could have killed it with Sand. Let's just skip back and make sure we go over what we've missed. So Starmie came in, died. In came Celebi, obviously on the EQ lock there. Metagross is going to get leeched, and he's going to double to the Blissey. Okay, there's a Wish. It's actually going to get crit by Earthquake, but obviously you just soft-boiled and take the Wish at the same time here to come back to full health. You're going to probably see a soft boil from the Blissey here, just so you can scout the move. And now it's pretty free Metagross, I would assume, for Mikmer. Because he's got the Protect on that Metagross, he's really not threatened at all by what this Aerodactyl can do. Surprising 21% actually from that slide. I didn't realize that was how much Aerodactyl did. I thought it would be more like 12, but you know, that's a lot of damage. We're going to see an Earthquake there into the Steelix. That's looking like an Impish Max Steelix, or either that or this Metagross is like lacking severely in the attack department. But after seeing 21% from that rock slide, I doubt it's, you know, impish or anything like that. So yeah, big rock slide to see. I mean, I guess you see Mikmer protect off the some of that rock slide, some of that spike damage there. And then I guess we're going to see what Mikmer tries to do here to you know, because at the moment, with the sort of soft boil plays that he's making to try and get around that Aerodactyl, he is actually slowly losing HP on that Metagross. So he does have to have a little think about how he's going to play this one. He's going to intimidate on the EQ there, and he doubles back to the Metagross here. That's not an awful play. I mean, it's not gonna lose him any momentum. It's not gonna necessarily net him any either. He is gonna be able to be pretty safe there with the Protect. He doesn't really want to take an EQ here. It's still going to do a solid 30, 33, 34 kind of percent. I don't know exactly, but it's going to be in the 30s. I wouldn't personally take an EQ. Yeah, the 32%, I think that's too much to be taking when there's a spike up and there's an Aerodactyl at full. Personally, I probably wouldn't have done that. I don't know whether Mikmer's maybe got another Rock Resist in the back, but it does feel like a bit of a haphazard play. You're not doing a lot back to that Steelix. We just see Earthquake there again. Maybe we're going to see, I don't know, like Mikmer seems pretty confident that he can stay in versus the Steelix and still win the game. So maybe he's thinking, you know, just going to Earthquake trade it down. Going to try and explode on it when it's not protecting. I don't know what the plan is, but he gets off another EQ there. And there's a HP Rock. It is actually going to crit. So it's actually going to net Johnnyg2 a little bit of chip, but Mikmer's going to pretty nicely munch that damage up. There's another Protect, and the HP is all going to be back for that Metagross there now. So I guess he's going to EQ again. I don't really know. Maybe he's going to try and explode here. He EQs again into the Celebi. This should be a pretty free Protect now for Mikmer. Although he might want to try and EQ again on the Steelix switching back in. I don't know. Okay, there's a Leech Seed, and then he's going to switch back to the Steelix. He's going to mash into the Steelix, and then he's going to get an attack boost. Okay, so Johnnyg2 kind of paying for messing around with the Metagross there. Mikmer paying off by maybe potentially haphazardly going hard into the Metagross versus the Steelix, which does generally 1v1. There's going to be a Leech Seed, and he's going to lose the Celebi in order to get that. But, okay, interesting choice to go back to the Steelix as well. Maybe I would have been personally tempted to go maybe to the Aerodactyl. I don't know. It's kind of feels like you just have to make some plays to force the progress. He is going to finally be able to take out that Magneton, though, so that's good. Definitely nice for him. Interesting to see who we're going to go to here. Maybe we're just going to go to Blissey and just start clicking some Ice Beams. Oh, he's got a Swampert. Okay, Swampert looks pretty nice at this point. Actually, I think I know what this is. I think I know who this boy is. This, I'm not going to reveal it until he says, but I think that, yeah, I think that is GG. So yeah, that explains why he was playing the Metagross as he did. Yeah, that is it. Like I said, yeah, as we tested, there is the Curse Pert, and it looks like that is going to be game. I believe this might be Curse HP Rock as well, actually. So, really nice team from Mikmer there. It's just like really supremely prepped, I'd say. As soon as that Celebi went down, it was just which just kind of times up. In comes the Salamence here. Great move. Just get that Intimidate off. It's good stuff. Johnnyg2 shouldn't be able to win anyway from here because Metagross lives even a crit double edge after Protect. And at that point, Boom is going to kill. So, you know, do some fancy stuff with Intimidate if you really want, but the game is over. You can't miss Explosion. Okay, he's just going to pivot about for some more Intimidate. Fair play. And then he's going to go back to it again. Sacks it, and then in comes the Metagross. I mean, it's just locked on double edge, bro. Don't overcomplicate this for yourself. But yeah, really nice game to watch actually there. I think great brings from Mikmer. Personally, I was never a massive fan of this team by ABR. Not really my favorite, but hey, good teams from both sides. So it's a pretty strong debut from both. I think both played well. Mikmer definitely capitalized on the fact they had the Swampert chilling in the back with the Metagross. I mean, there was potential that if the Metagross had lost 1v1 to the Steelix then booms into the Cursepert as it curses up, and then the double edge takes out the Swampert. Like, you could have ended up with a little bit of a dicey endgame. Versus the Aerodactyl, specifically, you know, because if both Rock Resist are dead, and then you've got, you know, if he has any way of switching moves into Rock Slide, you could be looking a bit funny at that point. But, you know, the Salamence was pretty healthy. The Heracross was always going to take one from there as well. So was the Blissey. So, you know, it did look relatively in Mikmer's favor there. But really nice game from both. It was definitely good to see the SPL debut from both Mikmer and Johnnyg2, and you know, neither of them making really any massive mistakes in that game either. I'd say it's definitely a strong performance from both. Definitely a little bit unlucky as well for Johnnyg2 in terms of missing the Fire Blast with Tyranitar. Made things a little bit funkier versus that Magneton. And I think Mikmer generally, though, got the matchup he was looking for. We saw the Fat Water, which is generally what you're bringing the Heracross for. We saw the Skarmory, which obviously you've chosen Magneton and CV mentioned Heracross for that reason. And yeah, Metagross and Cursepert were just, once Skarm the wall was gone, it was just a little bit too much. So yeah, just actually a showcase really of how strong a well-built Magneton team can be. After seeing so little Magneton, maybe in the last sort of year and a half, 2 years, it's really nice to see it have a strong resurgence against those kinds of teams that actually are trying to maybe abuse the fact that Magneton isn't being used very much anymore. They can really sometimes struggle versus properly nicely built modern Magneton teams. So really good to see there. Anyway, thank you guys very much for coming out and watching the YouTube video or stream, whichever one you're going to be watching, because this is for my friends watching the stream, also being hopefully posted on my YouTube later. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later. Peace.